Today we're going to make a mask to improve the ease of production and the speed of production and the fit. So this particular mask has a slot on the top for a wire to fit the nose, which can easily be made removable. It has two side channels that will gather together to give you a precise fit on the side. It's good for elastic. It's good for a casing. It's good for t-shirt yarn so that you can make ties if you'd rather. It opens up a full 6 inches on the adult size, so it will cover an N95 mask if you're making them for hospitals. And then it also has a opening in the back so that you can put in a disposable filter in case you are wearing it yourself and you're just running out to the grocery store. So what you're going to need to make this mask is a piece of fabric for a child size that you're going to cut 7 inches wide and 13 inches tall. And if you're making it for an adult size, you're going to cut it 8.5 inches wide and 15 inches tall. And that's all right here listed on the instruction sheet, which you can download. The other items that you're going to need are a twisty tie or some other wire for the nose piece. You are going to need some string ties if that's what you like to use. I actually cut 1-inch strips straight across the fabric at the 45-inch line. I fold it in half and I run it through my blind hem foot and my rolled hem foot, and it comes out nice and thin like this. T-shirt ties work really well, or elastic, either this thin tubular elastic, which is quite comfortable, or the 1/4-inch elastic, whatever you want, whatever you have. A safety pin is good to feed the elastics through. You need scissors, a wire crimper, just in order so that you can fold the edges of your wire so that it doesn't poke anybody in the nose. And a tweezer is good too, sometimes to help reach in and pull through the wire as you're trying to feed. Of course, a rotary cutter and a ruler. So the second item that's really important and lets you make these masks super fast is this ironing guide that I've come up with. This is also in the pattern download that you're going to do. This is not to scale. So what you need to do is mark this out onto your ironing surface. You can mark it out. Here I've marked it out in tape. If you use tape, just make sure you use an arrow to show the direction of the marks that you want to make, and you get that right from the ironing guide. These marks here on this side I have for the child size. And the adult size I've set up right here, and I actually just wrote with chalk onto my ironing surface. It's easily removable, but you can also mark it onto a piece of white cloth and use that instead. So that's what we're going to start with. All right, so the first thing they do is take your piece of fabric, and this works for either side, and you're going to take the short end of your fabric, fold it over 1/4 inch, and fold it over 1/4 inch again, put it under your press of foot, and sew. And just sew a straight line down. The way that this method enables you to sew them very fast is if you piece it. So don't take this out. Grab the next piece that you're going to use, fold that over 1/4 inch twice, put it through, and sew. And as you can see, I have a whole chain of them here that I just put through. Once you have got them all done on the one side, cut them apart, turn them around, and sew the other side, and do the same thing. And this one I've already done. So then we're going to come over to the ironing guide once I have a stack, and I usually do these 10 or 15 at a time. I'm going to place the fabric between the top mark and the bottom mark of the ironing guide. Don't get bogged down in if it's a little past or a little short. Just put it exactly, center it between the top 2 marks. And then you're going to give that a press. Then what you're going to do is go to the next 2 marks in. So I'm going to fold it up in line with the second mark from the bottom up. I'm going to do the same from the top down. And then I'm going to give that a press as well. This gives you about 1 inch to 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches overlap. Again, don't make yourself crazy over, you know, 1/4 inch here, 1/4 inch there. Fold it, and now on the child size, this is going to be 5 inches. The next thing I'm going to do is take this over back to the sewing machine. This is the top. This is the bottom of the mask. So the fold over on the top piece should be above the bottom. I'm going to put it under the sewing machine, and I'm going to sew a channel just across here at 1/4 inch. Again, you're going to do this in succession, one right after the other. Now, this is optional. If you're not putting in a nose piece, you don't need to make this mark. If you want to put a permanent nose piece in, you're going to sew straight across. If you want to make the nose piece removable, start about 1 inch in on this side and end 1 inch in on this side, and that way you can reach under and slide in the nose piece afterwards. This one's permanent though, so I'm going to take a piece that I've already turned the sides, and I am going to slide it right into the casing that we just made. And make sure that it's completely centered so that you don't accidentally sew over it. Now we're going to go back to the ironing guide, and you're going to place the piece that you've just sewn the channel in right in between the second marks. So the second from the top and the second from the bottom. Okay, so now this is 5 inches. What I'm going to do is fold it over down to the first pin, and also, just so you know, it's also where this, the bottom where you folded it up, where the finished edge is as well. So you actually can just reach right in there, feel where that finished edge is, and fold over at that edge. You're going to press that down in place. Now, you're going to bring the bottom up to the middle pin and fold it up. And that is also going to now give you your finished size of 3 inches high. I then am going to take the top piece that I just folded down and fold it back up level with the top and give that a press. And then I'm going to take the bottom and fold it down level with the bottom and press that as well. And there you go. I'm going to bring this back to the sewing machine now. You're going to take one of the 2 smaller pieces that you also cut. It's in the directions. This is 3 inches tall and 4.5 inches wide. I'm going to take the 3-inch mask piece that I just finished and lay it so that it's centered directly on top with the front side of the mask facing the right side of the fabric. I'm going to sew down 1/4 inch on the top to the bottom. And again, in order to make these go quicker, I'm going to do the next one and the next one and piece them through, just like a quilter would do. I'm going to then turn around and do the exact same thing on the other side. And I'm going to sew down at 1/4 inch. Making sure that you never sew over your wire. Then I'm going to fold this piece out away from the mask. I'm going to fold the side piece over so that it's flush with the top of the mask, and I'm going to pin it in this direction. This way I can sew without hitting the pin. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and pin that in place. Then I'm going to take my fingers and press up the side, and as I'm pressing, I am making the top go in at a slight angle. So this end should be a little bit narrower than this end. I'm going to fold over 1/4 inch, and I'm going to fold it over to just above my seam line, and I'm going to stitch that down right along the edge. Back tacking both sides, and I've made a casing. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to fold it over. There you go. I'm going to take my fingers and press this up at a little bit of an angle. I'm going to fold it over again, and stitch it right down. And there you go. It's that simple. Your mask is now completed. You have a wire in the top for the nose piece. You can open it up and stick in a filter. You can either put fabric ties through the two sides, or you can put some elastic, and there you go. And it fits, it'll have a really nice fit. And that's it.
Thank you.